All right, guys, as promised, here's our
out of this world chocolate chips.
I'm glad you said it, because I was going to say world's best. Out of this world is even better.
These are actually from Joanna Gaines' Magnolia Table recipe book. And a friend of mine was gracious enough to send me the recipe since I didn't have that cookbook. And they are, without a doubt, some of the best chocolate chip cookies we've ever had.
Yep. Now the one difference we're going to do is our butter is salted. Therefore, we're not going to add salt. The recipe calls for ½ a teaspoon of salt. We're not going to add salt to this.
Right, because the butter is already salted. So we've got, it calls for 1.5 cups of chocolate chips. You can add an extra ½ cup or take a ½ cup away. So we went with 2 cups of chocolate chips.
The more the merrier.
It calls for a heaping teaspoon of baking soda, a stick of butter, unsalted, but if you use salted, omit the sea salt that it calls for.
Yep.
2 eggs, and because we had a bunch of eggs given to us that were kind of cracked, we just put them all in a jar, and so we've measured out ½ a cup. A 1/4 cup equals 1 egg, so
yep.
There's a ½ cup of eggs in here for 2 eggs total. It takes
1½ teaspoons.
1½ teaspoons, thank you, of vanilla, which is our homemade vanilla. You can see we've still got the vanilla beans in there. And this is, as far as I'm concerned, this is better than the store-bought.
Oh, yeah.
And the nice thing about this is it's just vanilla bean and vodka. That's all vanilla extract is.
Okay.
And as it comes down, and you can see we've already used quite a bit, so I can add more vodka to this and it'll just keep producing vanilla. The vanilla beans will last for years.
Yep.
Okay?
I heard the, what's her name? The lady there on the East Coast. One of my favorite ones. I watch videos all the time. The Barefoot Contessa. Yeah, she's been using the same vanilla beans for 25 years. So, yeah, you buy it once and that's it. You go to the store, you have to keep buying it, but you make your own and you buy the vanilla beans once and you're good to go.
Yeah, Ina Garden.
Yes, thank you, Ina Garden.
Yeah, so as long as you keep the liquid above the vanilla beans, because you can see I'm getting ready, when I'm done with this recipe, I'll have to add more. And I'll fill it up to about, you know, up here. And it'll just keep producing that vanilla.
Yep.
I will never have to buy vanilla again.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, because it is expensive. And the beans aren't cheap, but you can get so much out of them. Anyway, and then it calls for 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. Excuse me. So, what we're going to do is we're going to take our 2.5 cups of flour and we're going...
and 2 cups of light brown sugar.
Oh, yes. And this is the light brown sugar that we just made. If you see the previous video, you'll see us making this.
If not, I'll try and put a card up in the corner so you can go to that recipe.
Right.
It only takes like 3 minutes to watch. It's really easy.
So it calls for 1 heaping teaspoon of baking soda. So I'm just going to throw that in there. And I'm just going to set this aside for now.
If you're doing unsalted butter, now's the time you would add the ½ a teaspoon of salt to that.
Correct. Okay, so first we're going to preheat our oven to 350 degrees and make one of your racks right in the center. Then we're going to take 2 cups of packed brown sugar.
dryer shut off so it's nice and quiet.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry for that noise in the background. Okay, there's 2 cups of packed brown sugar. And we're going to take our butter,
which has been sitting out, should be room temperature.
Room temperature. For these, you don't want to use cold. You want room temp. And just drop that right in there like that. And my sink is my garbage bowl for right now.
Now you're just going to beat it on medium-high for about 2 to 3 minutes till light and fluffy.
And I'm not going to sit here and make you watch me beat this for 3 minutes, so we'll bring you back when it's done. Okay, so once this is beat till it's light and fluffy and the butter and the sugar are incorporated, I'm going to add my eggs. And this is 2 eggs that are already beaten, so I'm going to mix that in. Okay, and then it calls for 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla. So there's 1 teaspoon, and I'm going to eyeball 1/2. A little extra never hurt anybody. So, and we mix that in until it's well blended. Okay, so once that's mixed in, you can shut your mixer off and add in your flour mixture. And then I would start out really on low because otherwise you're going to have flour everywhere. And unfortunately on my mixer, that is low. That's on my lowest speed, so try not to make a mess. So now this dough is going to be chunky, so don't worry about it being perfectly smooth. Yeah, it's kind of bogging my mixer down, so I had to turn it up a little bit. All right.
Add the chocolate chips and beat it together, and we're good. Ready to make this stuff.
So it says to only blend for like 5 seconds, but we'll see how that goes. Okay, gonna
It's funny, but whenever we turn the mixer on, Riker usually runs in the kitchen because he knows he's going to get whatever's on the beater. But he has a play date today, so he's not here.
Look how great that dough looks. I mean, oh my goodness. That is just some really nice cookie dough there.
Look at all that goodness, as I keep saying. All that goodness.
Now, you could also, if you wanted to at this point, add nuts. You could, you know, pecans, walnuts, whatever kind of nuts you wanted to make, you would add at this point.
Ooh, chocolate macadamia.
Yeah, that sounds yummy.
Yeah, we don't have any macadamia.
Nope. Sorry. So, this recipe is supposed to make about 40 or so cookies. So I guess it just depends on how big you make your cookies. Okay, so I'm just using a small cookie scoop. And the recipe says not to flatten these out, so they will flatten out by themselves. So we'll see how many I get out of here. I'm going to put them about an inch or so apart. And once I get this sheet filled up, we'll bring you back. Okay, so we've almost got this tray filled. The gal that sent me this, our good friend Sandra, I would recommend going to her page also. She also does crafts and a lot of DIY projects and baking and cooking, and her site is all one word, Fixing It Up with Sandra. And she's truly amazing. I think you'll really enjoy watching her channel. So we're going to stick these in the oven now. And we're going to cook them for 10 to 11 minutes, I believe.
Yep.
So I'm going to set my timer for 10 minutes because my oven bakes hot. And we'll bring you back when they come out of the oven. See you soon. Okay, so they're out of the oven and they look absolutely delicious. They're lightly golden brown, which is what you want. So we're going to leave them set out here for just a minute to cool before we put them on our wire rack and finish making the rest of these up. And when we're done, we'll bring you back.
Now they are on the cooling rack. Look at that. Look at that. So this batch you got 19.
They're at 20.
You got 19.
Okay, well I was going to show one here.
Okay. You show it, I'll eat it.
Look at that.
Wow.
That is so nice. So, well, it's a pity that one broke. I guess I'll have to eat that one, huh?
Well, I'll eat it too if you want. Here you go.
Oh my gosh. So good.
Good thing we're not diabetic.
At this rate, we might be. These are just so good. I'm not a huge fan of chocolate chip cookies. I'm not a huge fan of chocolate chip anything. But these are just so good. I make an exception for these.
So this is how much we have left. We got 20 out of that first run. We'll probably get 40, maybe 50 to 60 out of this particular batch. Made them small. These are things we're taking them to church tomorrow. And we'll share with you there. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a blessed day, and